All right, let's do this. I'm the best at this. I'm the best. No one's better than me at this. I'm the best. 3, 2, 1, 2. Jukebox 2. Welcome back to your favorite music podcast, Jukebox 2, where we talk about music news, reviews, and conversation. I am your illustrious host, Jay Burritos, and I have been away from you for a while. I have been taking care of myself, been getting a little sick, been getting a little better, been traveling. Hope you've been doing well in my absence. What has brought me back today with such vigor, with such energy, is a great many things, honestly. There's been a lot of things happening in the music world, whether it's been albums coming out, or events, or ridiculous what the fuck shenanigans that I've been trying to wrap my head around and learn more about. And some snowballs keep rolling, including the one that we're getting ready to talk about today. But long story short, a lot of shit has been going on in the music world that has made me feel like I have to, like I'm obligated to do the one thing that I do well on this earth and talk about music with y'all, my audience, who has waited so patiently for me to come back to this platform, and I do appreciate it. So I have to do what I feel sometimes I was meant to do, and that is to try to make sense of what the hell is going on. And also, so today's episode is gonna be a little all over the place. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a general outline in my head of how I want this to go, and it's gonna involve a lot of ranting. I'm gonna go down some rabbit holes, and if you're familiar with me, as I'm sure some of you are that have been following me for years, sometimes I go down rabbit holes and I go so far down that I don't remember where I started. So hopefully I've got enough of it going on in my mind here that I can keep my main points going. But today we're going to spend some time talking about the one, the only Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. And he is still like, I mean, to this day, to this moment, I truly cannot keep up with all of the shenanigans, all the interviews, all the quotes, all the tweets, just within the last 3 weeks, I can't keep up with all of it. But there was a certain chain of events that I want to get into from the last few weeks, starting around the Fashion Week show up until now, that I want to spend some time talking about today. But before we get to that timeline, I really want to, and this is what I wanted to spend, the main reason why I felt obligated to come back to this show is that I wanted to start today's episode before we get into the drama and the politics and the mess of it all. I want to spend some time doing what I feel like is necessary for me and what may be necessary for some other people that are listening to the sound of my voice. That I don't know. I feel like I'm a member of a silent majority. Like there are a lot of people that have seen what Kanye has been doing for the last few years, whether it's the Trump endorsements, the abortion shit, the stalking, whatever he's been in the news for the last 5 years. A lot of people have called that out on the spot and have been like, this is ridiculous, this needs to stop. A lot of other people have been like, you know, riding his dick and are just like, hey man, the man is trying to do this and you gotta understand he made the college dropout. But I feel like there's been a lot more people like me that tuned out after a certain point, and I'm gonna talk about my specific journey. But I feel like there's a lot more people like me that just kind of tuned out of the bullshit, that just like see his name pop up in the news for saying or doing something else stupid, and we just roll our eyes real quick and then we just kind of move on. You know, like you may listen to his new music, you probably, you know, cut him off after Yeezus, The Life of Pablo. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that like I just tune him out, and I have the space to be able to do that, like to where I'm not 19 years old. I'm not surrounded by like people that are like fervent music heads that are like, you know, that attract, you know, I used to be that person when I was younger. You know, I was the Kanye head. I guess I should go ahead. I told you I was going to be a big rant, but what I really want to do, let me zoom out real quick before I zoom in. What I want to do is create a space to just like grieve the man that Kanye West used to be, the artist that we used to love, and just kind of reflect on like what the fuck, like it just, as a fan of his music and as a fan of his persona, it fucks me up to see him like destroying his own legacy in all these different ways that like it's impossible to keep up with, and it makes your head spin, and it just makes you want to like, please just stop, please. Please, like no album is this good to just watch you do this, let alone anything that like is any of the bullshit that Kanye has been doing for the last like 5 or 6 years. Has any album that he's released in the last decade really worth it? Is Yeezus, Life of Pablo, Kase, Ghost, Yay, were any of those, Jesus is King, was any of that worth any of this? No. it just wasn't. It just isn't. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't like tried to dip my toe back in and just be like, okay, wait a minute. There's a couple songs on Ye that I actually do fuck with. All right, look, Donda was a mess of an album, but it's got a few bangers on there. You know, like I want to dip my toe back in. One, because I hold so much sentimental value for like those first few albums of his, like that run between 2004 and 2010. You know, everybody holds that in their minds because that was a golden era of music, hip hop, Kanye West on top of the world, you know. And also just have hope that like, okay, maybe one day somebody will baby shake him enough. Maybe he'll get the right person in his life to get him out of this weird, funky space that he's in and has been in for a long time. But nope. Like I said, in the last few weeks, it's just been a maelstrom of madness when it comes to like, I literally cannot keep up with the headlines. I can't keep up with the headlines. I can't keep up with the interviews. Every time I watch a 3-hour interview, another hour and a half interview pops up after that. Every time I watch an hour and a half interview, oh, now he got a little clip on Twitter. Every time I check Twitter and check all the clips, oh, now he done tweeted something about the Jews. And I'm just like, man, what are we doing? Like, what? Okay. I'm gonna take a breath right now. I started this episode a little high because I felt like I needed to take the edge off, but you can already see that even having taken the edge off, I'm still like this upset because it's just like, let's take a collective breath. Okay, let's just inhale together and breathe it out. We're gonna do that one more time. Okay. Thank you for doing that with me. A few weeks ago, because of it's gonna all tie back together. We're still in grief mode. A few weeks ago, because of the Fashion Week White Lives Matter shirts bullshit and specifically the Tucker Carlson appearance, I undertook the measure of finally watching the Netflix documentary that they put on there in January. Genius, Geenyus. 4.5-hour documentary. It's in 3 episodes, 3 parts. Spends a lot of time pre-college dropout. Spends a lot of time like contextualizing a lot of his journey, even outside of like what you learn in College Dropout's Last Song, Last Call. Like it was really cool seeing as a Kanye fan and as a fan of like that era of music and like those people, specifically people like Yasin Bey, Talib Kweli at the time, Common, just like a lot of those people in that era. It was really cool seeing all of those people kind of come together and see Kanye's legacy, not legacy, but see his culmination as an artist come together in the documentary. It was amazing to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wanted to make sure that I did as much of my homework as I could before I came here and try to like make sense and talk to y'all about Kanye West. Honestly, this episode has been delayed, not even just like the last couple weeks, because I wanted to put this out a couple weeks ago, but again, shit just keeps happening. Every time I'm like, man, I really should have stopped and recorded the Kanye episode. Now he done did this. Now he done said that. But like I said, I feel like he's been on a trajectory since like 2016 that has just been ridiculous and has not been talked about enough by people like within the culture at large. I feel like, you know, the New York Times talks about Kanye West whenever he says something anti-Semitic. I don't feel like people, the main sources of the culture here, like really pay him any mind or criticism to the most part. Like, I feel like, I mean, people with sense, like single people with sense, call out the bullshit for what it is, like I was saying earlier. But like I said, for the most part, I just feel like we all just ignore it, or we just all try to pretend like the shit ain't happening. Like, so getting back to my personal off-roading with Kanye West. So anybody that was familiar with my old show, Runaway Jukebox, may remember when we reviewed The Life of Pablo. I can remember that. I mean, it was almost 7 years ago at this point. But me and my boy Nick were sitting on the bedroom floor of my friend Tony's spot. Shout out to Tony. And I was talking to Tony and Mike. And the four of us were just sitting there. And Tony and Mike were, and probably still are, like hardcore Kanye stans. And I was still very much in that camp at the time, before The Life of Pablo's rollout and ridiculousness and everything after that kind of, like I said, off-roaded me. But anyway, I'm skipping ahead. And Nick was already off-boarded. I want to shout out my boy Nick Rattlehead. He'll listen to this, and I'm sure he's like laughing. I'm sure he's been laughing since he pressed play. But now he's about to be laughing even harder when 11 minutes into this episode, he's just like, bruh, for real? Because, like, man, you really did. You really did try to tell me to stop with the bullshit. You were trying to tell me that the music was not worth it. And as I sat there on the floor with my friends Tony and Mike, and we're basically bombarding my boy Nick with all the stand-up. I mean, we're just giving it to him. 2016, yeah, forget the rollout. You know, yeah, the bleached asshole line, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's a little weird, but man, is it a banger though? Like, I got bros in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were giving it to him. And I think that was February. I'm pretty sure that was February 2016, right? So we all, if you don't remember, the Life of Pablo rollout was fucking ridiculous. I mean, on absolutely every level. I remember songs were coming out as far back as like a year before that, because he was dropping songs at like a fashion week. He dropped Wolves with Vic Mensa at like a fashion show or something a year before the album came out. But then he did the big show on Tidal, which I watched live at work. I remember doing that, and that shit was amazing, and it was lit, and it was a moment. And just watching all that hype, and then also seeing that in the documentary was really cool too. But that moment in time, like, I remember it, and then the album didn't drop after that happened, and then like it didn't come out for like a month after that. It was like a Tidal exclusive, and he kept like remixing the song. So like you either got the Life of Pablo beta version, or you got the Life of Pablo version 1.625.20, and I can't keep up with the patch notes. And he kept adding songs, and he kept like cutting different parts, and it was just I hated all of that. Just as a fan, I did. Like, I'm still very much against like the updating of music. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay with an artist doing whatever. First of all, it's your work. Do whatever the fuck you want to, I guess. But I'm okay with you updating your music. But like, I feel like just for historical purposes, there has to be a way that's easy to access for you to just go back and listen to all other versions. Because I'm the type of person, like, I nitpick stuff. So like, if I can't unhear like when a verse has been added, or like a sound has been added, or something has been removed. So like there's the first song on the album, Ultralight Beam. People that when the song first came out, you know, Chance's verse comes on, and there's a part in the updated version where he says, "No one can judge me." And I sung that badly on purpose because I feel like Chance sung that badly, but I'm not gonna do that because Ultralight Beam is a banger. Anyway, that part got added to a different version, and I don't like it just because I'm like, I already heard this version. Why are you just making these little tweaks? It's like, it messes with my mind. I don't know if I have like a mental condition or something I need to get checked on, but I don't know. I don't like it. But I didn't like that. I didn't like the rollout. The tour itself was weird. Not that I was gonna go anyway. I didn't have Kanye tour money back in 2016. I mean, I was getting there. I just met Danny, and you know, ever since I met Danny, my wife, my lover, my partner, my muse, my flame, everything in my life has compounded. But this was my first year. Like, we just started dating that June, so I wasn't there yet. You know, still making about, I think, like 18 bucks an hour or something like that. So that was not Kanye tour money, because he was floating up on that stage And I don't know where the good seats were on that tour. I mean, if you went to that tour, let me know in the comments or shoot me a tweet on Twitter. But he was floating up on that stage, and every now and then I would see on Twitter clips of people, posting clips from the show of him leaving early or him going on some random rant about something. It was around the time of the 2016 election, and that was a rough time for a lot of people in the nation, because Hillary Clinton did not win and Donald Trump did, and a lot of people, myself included, were not expecting that, and it was a rough time. It was a rough time, and Kanye was on stage, in the middle of his songs, stopping. He'll stop and say, I didn't vote. I don't vote. I wouldn't encourage you to vote, stuff like that. People would start like cheering. Some people would start booing. Then at a different show, he'll come back and say, oh, when I said I didn't vote, I don't vote. Well, what I meant to also tell you was if I did vote, I would have voted for Trump. And everybody's like, more boos, more cheers. People are like, and it was just like, what is going on? Like I think that entire stretch was my like offboarding point. That was kind of my final straw, where I was just like, all right, I'm not into this as much as we, the George Bush doesn't care about black people, the Taylor Swift stuff. Like, he's had his moments where it was like funny, biting social commentary, but I didn't vote. But if I did vote, I would have voted for that guy. That's just not what I wanted to hear. That's not what I think the world needed to hear. But that's how the man felt. I was very much like, I ain't with the shits, bro. I ain't with the shits. Please, God, oh Lord, what is happening? Yeah. So like I said, that was my offboarding point. Fast forward to, oh boy, the last few weeks have just been a whirlwind of ridiculousness, and I want to try and sift through it, talk about it, make sense of it, ask questions for people that actually leave the comments and talk back to me, and get y'all's temperature check on like what's going on, because I can't. It's been rough, man. It's been rough. It's been sad as a fan, kind of getting back, and especially this feeling of mine was enhanced after watching the Genius documentary on Netflix. Like, as a fan, as a former stan of this man, formerly known as Kanye West, it has been disheartening to watch this man's descent into wherever he's going right now. It's just been like, I mean, the Black Israelite shit, the right wing shit, the evangelist hyper Christian shit. Like, it's been strange and weird watching this person that like whose music, whose whatever you could call politics influenced a lot of who I became as a man. Watching him become this, I can't say puppet, because like he knows what he's doing. This is the problem. But like watching him become this caricature of who he was, like literally shed his name and be this husk of a person is just, it hurts. It does. And I laugh through the pain, but that's all you can do. That's all you can do in this world, because like I'm not, my words are not gonna reach him. I'm not trying to change his mind or anything. Who am I? Do you know the hubris you have to believe you can change Kanye West's mind? Kanye West, the man who like, I told people who I thought I was. Oh God, you think you can change his mind? No. Yes. Nah, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to grapple with the reality of who he is. To a certain extent, I guess who he always has been. Like I used to, I don't know who people who may have watched the Jesus is King review that I did with Nick Rattlehead over on Aftershock Reviews, but if you've seen it, I kind of like alluded to the fact that like I wasn't buying the whole like transformation into God stuff, but like not only, I mean, a lot of that has been present in his music for a long time, but honestly seeing it in the Genius documentary kind of, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me stop. I'm not gonna say that like that his turn towards Christ, like in the way that he's doing it, is like trying to get a new audience or like not real or whatever. I believe that he has views on things like abortion, where and like hyper specific views on things that he twists to fit different narratives. Like his stats on like, you know, the black babies being aborted in New York City, and how that's like an agenda in order to minimize and sterilize black folks. Like, and I like sometimes he talks so fast and goes in so many different like conspiracy pots that it's impossible to keep up with like what he's actually saying. Like it's just, so even right now trying to recall some of the stuff that he's saying is just like it's hard, and I'm losing my train of thought and I need to get it back. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back, and then we're gonna try and talk about the last few weeks of Kanye West. Oh God. Excuse me. All right. Now I've had a little bit of water, had some raisins, had a chance to breathe and calm down. I feel much better. I feel this becoming less of a rant and becoming more of a coalescence of thoughts. So this is how I want to go about the rest of this episode. I want to try and talk about the last few weeks of Ye headlines, try to add as much context as I feel is necessary and give my opinion as to what the hell is going on and how I feel. So what set this episode in motion was the Fashion Week appearance where he had the White Lives Matter shirts and jackets and whatever else, and had all, you know, Lauryn Hill's daughter. I remember seeing that headline a lot on Twitter. You know, just had all his friends and family and close associates just hanging out wearing that shirt, and that was fun. So that in itself, you know, I was still in, all right, okay, whatever. He's just trying to get attention mode. And then it was after that when I saw that Tucker Carlson announced that Ye would be appearing on his show for an exclusive interview. That is when my eyebrow went way up. And I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? For those that don't know, that may not be friends with conservatives or watch leftist media where they talk about people like this. Tucker Carlson, I say his name weird every time, and I hear it weird, and I don't know what. Tucker Carlson is basically the biggest host on Fox News, which is like the conservative channel that like all the grandmas, black, white, regardless, watch every day. So this man spends an hour or so every day just looking in the screen like this and talking to his viewers like, the left wants your children to die and be gay. Why would they do that? Why is that? So he just, you think I'm exaggerating, but like if I could find a compilation of like his most ridiculous like lower third headlines and the way that he talks, he just does that, and he talks in like this slow, almost like inflamed way of talking. Like he's upset, but he's like quietly upset, like the rest of America is supposed to be, I guess. And he's like the biggest guy on the right when it comes to like cable news and news. I'm using that lightly. But anyway, Mr. Ye announced that he was going to be making an appearance on Tucker Carlson's I'm just gonna say Tucker because that last name is just like, what's wrong with my tongue right now? Is it too fat? Like, what's the problem? Tucker, he was coming on good old Tuck's show to make an appearance and I guess explain the White Lives Matter t-shirts. So they spent, I mean, from what I saw on Fox News, what I saw on their YouTube channel, they spent maybe a minute talking about that shirt. Not even that. I think basically Kanye just waved it off like the shirt said White Lives Matter because they do. That's it. And he just kind of laughed and he mentioned that his dad found it funny or some shit. And Tucker moved on. And then Tucker just kind of sat there with this face like, while Kanye just said a bunch of nothing. Like it was just all nothing. That's what just made it so like, it's just, again, thinking about it now, it doesn't make any sense. Like what they aired on Tuck was a bunch of nothing. I think the only thing that I can remember him saying was that more black babies were being aborted in New York City than were being born or something like that. But again, other than that, he was just like saying nothing, just kind of going around in circles, talking about deals, talking about being a genius, talking about God, but nothing. But come to find out, there were parts of that interview on Tuck's show that were not aired, that somehow were leaked to social media, where he was saying much more inflammatory things, and those got out. And so I think at that point, Kanye, I can't remember which came first. Was it Diddy reaching out to him? Like, Diddy at some point, Diddy tried to reach out to Kanye. It was like, hey man, let me talk to you. Like, this ain't right. None of this is right. And Kanye responded back with some shit like, hey man, you got to come see me in person, blah, blah, you the feds. And then he like takes screenshots of all of their texts and starts posting them on Instagram and Twitter. And then he like tweets something random. The tweet's been deleted. I don't have it off the top of my head, but he was tweeting. I think the thing that got him in trouble was him tweeting he's going to go DEFCON 3 on Jews. and I was like, wait, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying? I don't. Oh my God. Like, what are you talking about right now? Was my feeling. And again, right now I'm reliving that experience in real time. So at some point, I think, his tweet got deleted, and then it was announced that he would be returning to our favorite podcast, Drink Champs, for the third time. So Ye made his third appearance on Drink Champs and spent 3 hours just going in on, every community that he could. And saying all kinds. The shit that got the big things that got him in trouble. Was the big thing that got him in trouble with the black community was him implying that George Floyd did not die of being choked out to death with that knee on his neck for damn near 9 minutes, like we all saw. Implying that his knee wasn't even on his neck like that. And that he had a fentanyl overdose, and constantly quoting a Candace Owens documentary, which again, just kind of like, if you're familiar with the track that right-wing media and like the brainwashing takes, that's not surprising. Hearing names like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, hearing those names together and hearing those names from the same person, using them as like legitimate sources, it makes sense. But again, to most of the people paying attention, to like most of his fans who just want to hear like whatever the next album is, they just like whatever, nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. Or worse, to people out there that do hold some of the beliefs that he does hold, like the whole like Jews are controlling the media thing, which, like I said, we'll get to in a second. If I don't even fully understand how to handle that topic, but I'm gonna try my best. But like people that hold any version of those views, they clamor to him and they're loving everything that he's saying. So like, he feels the way that he feels about God and that, man and a woman and this, that, and the third thing. So like, of course, right-wing media is like, oh yeah, he feels the way that he feels about Donald Trump. So of course the right-wing media is going to love him. They're going to just, and that's what, I mean, if it's one thing we all know that Ye loves Ye, and Ye loves it when people love or hate Ye, because it's all love, baby. That's his thing. He loves the attention, he loves the spotlight, and he loves being the one that's got, what I'm doing right now is only feeding his ego. It's only stroking it. It's only making him feel better. But again, I have to get this shit out, because if I don't, I will go crazy. If I just keep pretending like I don't talk about music, like if I keep pretending like this isn't happening and don't at least create an avenue for us to talk, people listening to, watching this right now, then I'm going to go crazy. And that's what I feel like I have been doing low key, which again is why this episode exists. So getting back to the timeline of events, Kanye West is on Drink Champs with Nori, DJ EFN. And there, I mean, it's somehow even more softball than the Tucker interview, because Tucker, I mean, pushback. What's pushback? There was no pushback. I mean, it was just, Tucker would ask him a question. Kanye would rant for 3 minutes. Tucker would agree with the last 10 seconds of what he said, because I guess whatever he said was right wing enough to, the Democrats are all trying to poison us, or what have you. It was enough of what he said at the end where Tucker could just repeat what he said, and then Kanye would just go on another rant, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth for an hour. The Drink Champs episode, which has also been taken down, but I'm sure you can find that somewhere on the internet. But it's been taken down from the original source, at least. But I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I watched some of it as it premiered, and it was kind of midway through, and then I rewatched it from the beginning to about 2 hours in before I was just like, I feel like I've got all that I need to feel comfortable making the points that I'm going to make today. So it was about 3.5 hours of Kanye just saying some of the wildest shit, like what I said about George Floyd. I'm sorry, what he said about George Floyd. Don't put them words in my mouth, bro. And he was rightfully condemned for that. He continued to allude to and assert that, Jews control the media, they control the money, they stick together. He said that he somehow, he went into Black Israelite territory, we are the original tribes of Judah, and just, all of that stuff. So I can't be anti-Semitic because I am Semitic. I just put that cover on. Like, how can I hate myself? Just going on those rants, saying that he was jealous of them being the Jews, because they stick together, because they make money, because they blah, 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 just spitting all of again, if you're familiar with the track of right wing, if you're familiar with the track of anti-Semitism, which I'm not even an expert in it. Like I'm just now starting to understand, I watch Hassan Abi from time to time. Like, I'm just now starting to read books like Culture Warlords by Talia Lavin. I couldn't remember her. I apologize if I got your name wrong. But books like that, and just kind of understanding. Oh, there's a method to this. Like you kind of start out in a little. You start out. I don't know. I can't explain it. Again, I'm not an expert in things like this. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that people like what I believe Kanye West is. People like that. It starts out as you see, and you saw it in real time in the Genius documentary. You hear somebody like Tucker Carlson agreeing with the point that you made about abortion, or about education, or about crime, and you hear him agreeing with you. So you start listening to him, you start watching him a little more, and so YouTube starts to build that algorithm for you, and the algorithm digs you deeper and deeper, and it takes you further away from those main sources like Tucker Carlson. Then all of a sudden you're way down deep in the rabbit hole. You get, before you get way down deep, you pass through Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and the rest of the Daily Wire crew, and and Steven Crowder and the rest of them. You just kind of you hang around there for a little while, and it's more than news. It's news and shock value, and they give you more of that, and they start to tell you things that oh, whoa, this can't be true, and then you go deeper deeper and deeper, and you start to get to the real nut jobs. You know, the people that get banned and have to go to like other places like Truth Social and Parler. Like there's a method to the madness is what I'm trying to say. And like I said, I hope that I did that. That's just like a cursory, that's a primer on like how that shit works. And all of a sudden you go from like thinking that abortion is bad to thinking that like children are having their blood drained and like people are drinking it at secret sex parties. That's what I'm saying. Like that's how the rabbit hole goes sometimes. And it's weird and it's crazy, and knowing what's going on, like seeing it happen to one of the biggest rap stars in my history is weird, is what I'm trying to say. That's the thesis of today's episode, is that it's freaking me the fuck out watching it happen, because I can't do anything but watch it happen. It's weird. Like, I don't know if like there's no one person I believe that can change his mind about anything that he's got his mind set to. I don't know if there's any mechanism in our culture or in social media or what have you that could turn the tide enough to really make him understand. I'm not even asking for like punishment, because like stuff is already happening to him, right? Because of all the stuff that I'm talking about right now, he's already losing deals. Like he's I think he was cut from Balenciaga. He was cut from a creative agency I just read today. Adidas, I think, is looking at his even though he claimed to be untouchable on the Drink Champs interview, I think Adidas is looking at cutting his I'm sorry, his deal is under review. Let me not speak anything into existence, but you know, like things are happening to him to cause consequences. Not that matters, because anything that happens to him, especially at this point, like there are enough forces around Kanye to where like whatever deal he loses, he'll just get another deal somewhere else. And he's not worried about it. As these things are happening to him, he's already talking about buying up that right-wing social media platform. He's not worried about it. He's in a way like financially untouchable at this point. I'm not asking for consequences. I'm asking him to get some clarity, like get some people in his life that can help to like connect these dots and show him that like, okay, you may personally believe you can personally believe that because your dad would have aborted you, that abortion is bad. You can believe that for yourself. What you should not do is align with the side that wants to like enforce that lack of autonomy on everyone, regardless of circumstance. Like that, you should not want to like as. I'm sorry. Again, I know I'm getting now. I feel like I'm getting too far down into the politics rabbit hole, but Kanye West is just a headache. This is how it's been for me personally. Being a fan, being someone I consider like a halfway intelligent person, like seeing what is happening and seeing how he's, I can't say falling into a trap, because every time I watch a new interview, he clearly knows what he's doing. I feel like he knows full well what he's doing, and I just don't think he cares at this point. I think that he knows that he's financially untouchable, and he knows that the Jews can't touch him. So he's like, well, fuck it. All right, I'm just gonna say, you know, I mean, like I said, I haven't even watched the one thing that I haven't watched up to this point, and today is what, October 24th, 2022. The one big interview that I haven't watched at this point is the Piers Morgan interview, but I saw little bits of it where he was just, you know, dropping the R-bomb and like being cheeky about it, like, oh no, I'm not supposed to say this, Joe Biden. I know I'm not supposed to say this, but that's, you know what I'm saying? Like he knows full, you know, like I said, with the armor that he's trying to wear, saying that like believing in the Black Israelite talking points. And again, if you're a Black Israelite, you know that you believe that white people were built, like were cloned in a laboratory by a guy. Like you know that's what you believe, right? I have a specific disdain for Black Israelites. People that know me personally know this, and maybe we'll get into that on another day. But yeah, to see Kanye fall into those into that crowd, to see Kanye fall into the Daily Wire crowd, to see Kanye fall into, it's just been weird. It's just been weird, and I don't. the problem with me coming out and making this point is going to make it sound like I'm for everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like yay, Joe Biden has done everything. You know, we should all like, Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate for a bunch of different reasons. I still think we've been in a better place. We've been in a much better place if she won over Donald Trump. But again, regardless, I think Joe Biden is doing a million things like weird or slow or not at all. And I'm not a fan of him at all. And I don't want to have to vote for him in 2024. I pray to God that they put somebody else above him. Like, so what I'm trying to say is that, like, I'm not saying that he should be out here. Like, the problem with some of the stuff that he's saying is that, like, there's grains of truth to it. And that's how people on that's how Fox News gets you. That's how Tuck gets you. That's how Ben gets you, is that there's a nugget of truth in. I mean, there's so much truth in saying that politicians lie on both sides, that Democrats are lying, that, you know, Kanye makes a point to say that, like, Democrats feel entitled to black people's vote. And I mean, we've seen that in practice. We know that to be true, you know, like, but it's the way that they, like, twist these points up all weird to just, I'm frustrated. I'm angry. It's weird to see. It's sad to watch. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This is the Kanye West support group that I'm here starting for myself. So I got a circle of chairs, and I'm inviting y'all to pull up in the comments if you just want to talk it through, if you want to help me make sense of it, if you want to argue against my points. Maybe I'm being crazy. Maybe the rest of y'all, maybe I'm a silent minority instead of what I thought in the beginning, that, like, it's a bunch of y'all that feel this way. But, like, I am personally just tired of, like, and to circle back around to genius and to the grief portion. Here's why. One, watching that documentary reminded me of how grief, like losing the most important person in your life, can drastically change everything. I mean, and like what the documentary does so well is remind us all to, like, his mama was the most important person in his life. And when he lost his mom, everything changed in all these different kind of crazy ways. Like, I mean, his stardom took off, but then also, like, just so much you could tell. I mean, he was battling with so much, and, like, having gone through that myself and still dealing with it right now. I mean, that pain, that hole never goes away. Like, he will never be over that loss. Like I said, I personally understand that now. And so that like, it hurts to see somebody else going through that, but to be choosing a different path than, like, healing, it hurts. It hurts. That's one. Two, and this is a more personal, more selfish reason. We are a year and a half away from the 20th anniversary of the college dropout. February 2004. So February 2024, we should be, as a culture, celebrating one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, the culture shift that it was. Like, that should be an event. And you know me, I'm a sucker for dates. I'm a sucker for anniversaries. And so, you know, after that, we would have the 20th anniversary for late registration in 2025, and so on and so forth. And all of that is tainted by this bullshit. Like, it's all just like, yo, what? Like, it's not gonna hit the same. Like, he might go on tour and I ain't gonna want to go. Like, I won't. As much as I love that album, as much as I love that era of Kanye, I just do not. I can't support this. I can't. It's all bad. It's all bad, and I don't like it, and it sucks. And that is the end of my rant, because I could go for another 45 minutes to an hour, but I don't want to keep y'all here all day. If I've made any points that you agree with or disagree with, please chat with me in the comments on YouTube if you're watching it. If you're listening to my podcast, if you would do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you're listening on your podcast services. Spotify, I'm on Spotify too, Stitcher, all of them spots. But yeah, I do like, and I'm on Twitter at JAY Burritos. You can always find me there. And I want to know how people are feeling about this. I want to talk on a more heart-to-heart level, like not on a, I want you to lose all your sponsorships or like stick to the music. I'm just like, as somebody, like I feel like his music, his personality, I mean, now even his fashion has touched a lot of people's lives. And I want to know how you feel watching all of like what is happening in this last month. Do you care? Are you aware of anything that I just mentioned today? Like just let me know. Cause like I said, I'm starting the support group. I got the circle of chairs and I just want somebody to talk to about this. So, I want to thank you for listening to my rant and ramble about, Ye, the man formerly known as Kanye West. The next time that I come back, I promise a much lighter episode, a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. I think we're going to have a great time. We're going to reinvent the wheel on the show, as they will. So have a great time until then. I love you. Tell a friend about I guess last thing, I'm really bad at these call to actions. Please, if you enjoyed any part of today's episode, share it with your friends, share it on social media, share it in your group chats. If you got people that agree, disagree, if you got people that you think I can help save, bring the lost lambs here. Instead of letting them go over there to the Daily Wire, bring them here. Bring them here to Jay Burritos. Bring the lost lambs to me, and I will guide you as your shepherd to a better place, because that's what I do. I'm the master of millennial music, and no hiatus or shenanigans or anything like that will stop that from being the case. You know this because you know me. You have entrusted me with at least 50 minutes of your time if you got through today's episode. And like I said, if you enjoyed it, please do me a favor. Share it with some friends. Share the YouTube link. Share the podcast. Like I said, you can find it everywhere. I would just appreciate some love. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch. I am Jay Burritos. This has been Jukebox 2. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.